Members, we have had all the discussion on this bill today. All of it has been about the people getting public money, the people receiving the money. So with your indulgence, I'd like to talk just a little bit about some of the folks who actually participate in the economy so that that money can exist, the people paying taxes and giving the money. I want to tell you about Tony, a constituent of mine. He's 61 years old, and he owns an auto repair shop. And as many of you know, in a tough economy, auto repair is a difficult business to be in because when folks don't have as much disposable income, they drive a little longer and don't get their car fixed as often. So because Tony wasn't able to make ends meet just by owning his repair shop, he picked up extra shifts after work as a night manager at a convenience store. Now, Tony and I go to church together. So on Sundays, after service, Tony goes and works part-time for a pest control business where at age 61, on bad knees, he crawls under homes to remove pests. This is a 61-year-old person working 3 jobs. And part of the money that Tony makes, he pays to state government. And then we use that money to take care of the poor. And I bet, though we haven't had this conversation, that Tony would be okay with that. Because, Mr. Speaker, as you have taught us, taking care of the poor is not a Democratic value, it's not a Republican value, it's not liberal, it's not conservative. It is a universal value that we ought to take care of the poor. But we do a disservice to these programs and to these people when we allow money to be siphoned off and wasted to fund the sin of others. Don't ever, and I'm speaking to the members of my party, of my caucus, do not ever let members of the back row tell you that you're picking on poor people. This House, under the leadership of this Speaker, has embraced an aggressive pro-poor agenda. We've funded education. We've funded economic mobility so that people that are poor don't have to stay poor and they don't have to stay in a cycle of dependence. They can be successful. We've even funded in our budget cash that we give to poor people to help them just make that next mortgage payment or to buy that next batch of groceries. And all we're asking for that aggressive pro-poor agenda is that money not be used in these circumstances. I think that's fair. This country is begging for entitlement reform. And so what will you give us if not this? I don't know what's next, but I certainly would say that if you can't agree to this, there's virtually no entitlement reform we can agree to. We won't forget about the poor, but don't you ever forget about the people working and fighting hard so that we have the money to give to the poor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.